Welcome to our deep dive. And let me tell you, you guys sent in a really cool stack of articles about AI in retail. It's like, whoa, the future is already here.
It really is. It's amazing how AI is changing, well, everything, right? Like how we shop, what we buy, even the stores themselves.
Totally. And that's what we're going to unpack today, how AI is, like changing the whole retail game, not just for the stores, but for us, the shoppers.
Exactly. And I think, a good place to start might be with this whole thing about personalization. I mean, remember when you used to get those like generic product recommendations? Now it's like AI knows you better than you know yourself.
Yeah. It's kind of freaky how good it's gotten. Like, how does AI actually do that? Is it magic or something?
It's not magic exactly, but it's pretty close. It's all about data, right?
Hmm.
AI algorithms, they can analyze huge amounts of information, like not just what you buy, but, what you look at online, what you click on, even like what you say in product reviews.
Well, so it's like listening to our every word. That's both cool and a little bit creepy, don't you think?
Yeah, there's definitely an ethical side to all of this that we need to be aware of. I mean, the balance between convenience and privacy. But think about it, AI can use all that data to not just recommend products you might like, but also to like predict future trends, and and this is wild, personalized prices.
Wait, what? So, like, I could see a different price for something than you would based on, like, our shopping habits.
Exactly. It's called dynamic pricing, and yeah, it can feel a little bit like Black Mirror, right? Like stepping into some sci-fi episode.
Totally. But I guess, like, if it's done right, it could be a good thing. Like, maybe you get a discount on something you've been wanting because AI knows you're more likely to buy it at that price.
Exactly. It's all about how it's implemented, right? And about giving users control and transparency.
Okay, so we've talked personalization,
Yeah.
but what about those chatbots, huh? The ones that pop up everywhere online. Have you ever talked to one and been like, wait, is this a real person?
Oh, yeah, totally. Especially with, the improvements in natural language processing. AI chatbots are getting so good. They can answer questions, troubleshoot problems, even like give you fashion advice.
And they're there 24/7, which is, awesome for us busy shoppers. But I do kind of wonder, like, are we going to get to a point where we can't even tell if we're talking to a bot or a real person?
That's a really interesting question. And I think it's something that retailers are like actively thinking about right now. I mean, how do you strike that balance between automation and human interaction?
Yeah, it's tricky, right? Because, like, we want the convenience, but we also don't want to lose that, human touch.
Right. I mean, maybe the sweet spot is that AI handles like those simple basic queries while humans focus on the more, complex or emotionally charged interactions.
Yeah, that makes sense. AI is a helper, not a replacement. Speaking of cool tech, what about visual search? I mean, that's like straight out of a sci-fi movie, right?
It is pretty futuristic. You see a jacket you like on someone walking down the street, you take a pic with your phone, and bam, AI finds it for you online.
That's so cool. I mean, I always thought it was just like basic image recognition, like searching for a blue dress.
Mm-hmm.
But it's way more than that, huh?
Oh, yeah, way more. AI can analyze like patterns, textures, even like the context of an image. Like, say you take a picture of a room with a bunch of furniture in it. AI can pick out like a specific lamp and find you places where you can buy it.
Wow. So, like, it's not just matching colors or shapes, it's actually understanding what's in the picture.
Exactly. And it can do even more, like imagine using visual search to find outfits that, match a certain aesthetic or to like discover furniture that would go well with your existing decor.
Okay, that is mind-blowing. And while we're on the topic of mind-blowing tech, we got to talk about augmented reality or AR. I mean, this is like try before you buy on steroids.
Right. I mean, AR is changing the way we shop online, especially for things like, clothes and furniture. Like, imagine virtually trying on clothes without ever leaving your house or seeing how that sofa would actually look in your living room before you buy it.
That's so cool. No more wondering if that giant sectional will actually fit through the doorway.
Yeah.
AR solves all those problems.
Exactly. It's all about making online shopping more, immersive and engaging, bringing some of that in-store experience to the digital world.
I love it. So speaking of in-store experiences, are physical stores going to like disappear?
Yeah.
Or is AI giving them, a new lease on life?
Definitely a new lease on life. Have you heard of those checkout free stores? The ones where you can just walk in, grab what you need, and walk out. No lines, no cashiers, just pure shopping magic.
Yeah, those sound amazing, but also a little bit scary, right? Like Big Brother is watching you shop.
I get it. The whole surveillance thing is definitely something to consider. But think about the convenience. Like, you just pop into a store, grab a few things, and you're out in like 2 minutes. No waiting in line, no fumbling with your wallet.
Okay, I could see how that would be super appealing, especially if you're, like, in a hurry.
Right. It's all about using AI to make the shopping experience more, seamless and efficient.
Hmm.
But I do think there's got to be like a balance, right? We don't want to lose that human element entirely.
I agree. Part of the joy of shopping is, browsing, discovering new things, maybe even chatting with a friendly salesperson.
Yeah.
We don't want to lose that in a world of robots and algorithms.
Absolutely. I think it's about creating like a diverse retail landscape that caters to different needs and preferences. Checkout free might be great for quick trips, but there's always going to be a place for that more traditional shopping experience where human interaction is key.
Totally. So AI is changing how we shop, but what about how the products get to us? I mean, behind the scenes, how is AI, transforming the whole supply chain thing?
Oh, it's fascinating. AI is bringing a whole new level of like intelligence and efficiency to it. Like take demand forecasting, for example. AI algorithms can analyze, tons of data like sales trends, weather patterns, even social media buzz to predict what people are going to want to buy.
So it's like having a crystal ball, but for retail.
Yeah.
No more stock shortages or wasted products, just like perfectly stocked shelves all the time.
That's the idea, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just about predicting demand. AI is also being used to, optimize warehouse operations, like robots working alongside humans to manage inventory and fulfill orders.
Wait, so we're talking like robots in warehouses picking and packing stuff with like superhuman speed.
You got it. It's like a real-life sci-fi movie unfolding in those warehouses, and it doesn't stop there.
Yeah.
AI is also being used to optimize delivery routes, like, those algorithms that analyze traffic patterns and weather conditions to get your package to you as quickly as possible.
So we're talking like faster deliveries, lower costs, and maybe even like a greener footprint.
Exactly. AI is making the whole delivery ecosystem more efficient and sustainable, which benefits everyone, right? And get this, we're even starting to see like self-driving delivery vehicles being tested. Those little robots that bring your pizza or groceries right to your doorstep.
The future is wild. But let's not get too carried away with all this amazing tech. We got to talk about the ethical side of things too. Like all this AI is collecting so much data about us. Is that like a good thing?
That's a great point. I mean, yeah, AI has the potential to make shopping amazing, but we also need to be mindful of things like, privacy and control. Like how much data are we willing to share in exchange for convenience?
Right. And do we even have a choice? Or are we just like passively feeding the AI machine without even realizing it?
That's why transparency is so important. Like, consumers should know what data is being collected, how it's being used, and they should have the ability to, opt out if they want to.
Hmm. Okay, so we've talked about the cool stuff, the scary stuff, and the ethical stuff, but where do we go from here? Like, is all this AI actually making shopping better? Or are we like losing something in the process?
It's a tough question, right? I mean, AI can definitely make shopping more, efficient and personalized, but we don't want to lose that like human element, that sense of discovery, the joy of finding something unique, the connection with a helpful salesperson.
Yeah, I get that. So maybe it's not about AI versus humans, but AI and humans working together, like AI handling the logistics and the data crunching while humans focus on the emotional connection, the personalized advice, the stuff that AI can't replicate.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance, right?
Yeah.
Using AI to enhance the human experience, not replace it.
Perfectly said. Well, I think we've covered a ton of ground in this first part of our deep dive. We talk about how AI is, like personalizing those shopping experiences and even like changing how stores work. But now let's get into something really interesting. How AI is changing jobs, like the whole workforce thing.
Yeah, that's a big one, right? It's easy to think of AI as like this job-killing monster, but it's
Mm.
actually way more complicated than that.
Okay, so it's not like robots are going to take over all the jobs.
Not exactly. AI is definitely going to automate some tasks, but it'll also create totally new jobs and opportunities we can't even imagine yet.
So it's like AI is changing what jobs look like, not just taking them away.
Right. Think about all those like repetitive, data-heavy tasks in retail, like managing inventory, setting prices, even some customer service stuff. AI is really good at those things, which frees up humans to do, more creative and complex stuff.
Okay, so like instead of a cashier just scanning groceries all day, they might be, I don't know, managing a team of robots or like giving personalized shopping advice to customers.
Exactly. It's a shift in the types of skills that are needed.
So how do we like prepare people for this shift?
Well, education and training are going to be super important. People are going to need like new skills to thrive in this AI-powered world. Things like, data analysis, understanding how AI works, even just being really good at communicating and collaborating with, both humans and AI.
So AI is kind of pushing us to level up our skills, be more adaptable, think outside the box.
Totally. And the good news is humans are amazing at adapting. We've always figured out how to navigate, big technological shifts. This is just the next one.
Okay, so we've got jobs changing, new skills needed. But what about the overall shopping experience? Is all this AI making shopping more enjoyable, or are we losing something in this quest for efficiency and personalization?
It's a balancing act, right? I mean, AI has the potential to create these super smooth, personalized experiences. Like imagine walking into a store and everything is, perfectly tailored to your taste. You find exactly what you need instantly, and checkout is a breeze. It could be amazing.
That does sound pretty awesome. But I can also see how some people might find that, I don't know, kind of impersonal or sterile.
Right.
Part of the fun of shopping is browsing, discovering new things, maybe even chatting with a salesperson who knows their stuff.
Totally. And that's where that, human touch is still so important. AI can handle the logistics, the data, all that stuff, but it's humans who create those emotional connections, those memorable experiences. Retailers need to figure out how to use AI to enhance the human side of shopping, not replace it.
It's all about finding that sweet spot where AI makes things easier and more fun, but without losing, the human connection, right?
Exactly. And I think we're already starting to see that happen. Like, take personalized recommendations, for example. AI can suggest products based on, your past purchases and all that. But a good salesperson can take those recommendations and really personalize them, offering styling advice, explaining the features, actually connecting with the customer on a human level.
It's like instead of just an algorithm, you've got a personal shopper who's also a friend.
Exactly. And in this world that's getting, more and more digital, more impersonal, that human connection is something people really crave.
Makes sense. So we've talked about jobs, the shopping experience, but what about the big picture? How is AI changing the whole retail landscape? Is it making things more fair for smaller businesses, or is it just giving more power to, the big giants?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think it could go either way, honestly. AI has the potential to level the playing field. It gives small businesses access to tools and data analysis that used to be only for, the huge
So
companies.
it's like democratizing access to these powerful tools, giving smaller businesses a fighting chance.
Yeah, that's the hope. But there's also the risk that, AI could actually make things less fair. Like the big companies have so much data, so many resources, they could just pull even further ahead.
It's like a double-edged sword.
Right.
AI could help smaller businesses, but only if it's developed and used responsibly.
Right. It can't just be about giving everyone access to the technology. It's also about making sure that AI algorithms are fair, unbiased,
Yeah.
actually working for everyone, not just the big guys.
So it's not enough to just have smart AI. It's got to be fair AI too.
Exactly. And that means thinking carefully about the data that's used to train these algorithms, making sure they're not perpetuating existing biases. It's about making sure AI is used to create a more equitable retail ecosystem, not one that just makes the rich richer.
Yeah, we don't want AI to just make existing problems worse. So what can we do to make sure AI is used the right way in retail?
Well, we got to start talking about it, right? Having these conversations, demanding transparency from companies, making sure they're thinking about the ethical side of things. And as consumers, we need to be aware, informed, and make choices that support the kind of future we want to see.
So it's not just about the tech, it's about the choices we make.
Totally. This AI revolution in retail, it's not some predetermined thing. It's being shaped right now by the decisions we make every day.
Okay, so in this part of our deep dive, we've talked about jobs, the shopping experience, the big picture of retail. What are your final thoughts on this whole AI thing?
Honestly, I think it's super exciting to see how AI is, changing everything. It has the potential to make retail so much better, but we got to be smart about it. We got to make sure AI is used to create a more equitable, sustainable, human-centered retail ecosystem.
Okay, I love that a human-centered retail ecosystem. So before we, wrap up this whole deep dive, let's look ahead a little bit. What are you most excited about when it comes to the future of AI in retail? We've really gone deep into this whole AI in retail thing, from personalized recommendations to robots in warehouses. It's clear that AI is not just, some cool add-on. It's totally changing how we think about shopping.
Yeah, it's like a complete retail makeover, powered by all this data and algorithms. But like any big change, there are those big questions about who's really benefiting and who might get left behind.
Exactly. So for this last part of our dive, let's like zoom out a bit.
Yeah.
Instead of just the what of AI, let's talk about the so what. Those long-term effects, the potential problems, the stuff we should all be thinking about.
Yeah, like one thing that worries me is, could AI actually make inequality worse? Like, what if access to all this cool personalized stuff, those quick deliveries, even just like the variety of products, what if that becomes, unequal based on some algorithm?
Right, that's a big deal. Imagine like AI deciding that, I don't know, some neighborhoods get faster deliveries or certain customers get special treatment just because of like some data points.
Yeah.
That's like a whole new kind of digital divide.
Totally. And it's not just about like getting your stuff quickly. It's about those algorithms potentially, creating bias in things like pricing or even like job opportunities in retail.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen algorithms mess things up in other areas, so it's not like, some crazy idea. We've got to make sure that doesn't happen in retail.
Absolutely. Like we need rules, transparency, some kind of ethical guidelines for how AI is used in retail. Otherwise, we could end up with a system that's like super efficient, but totally unfair.
Okay, inequality, check. What other, like, potential problems should we be watching out for as AI gets, even more powerful?
Privacy is a huge one, right? I mean, as AI gets better at, tracking our every purchase, our preferences, even like how we move around a store, it's kind of creepy. Like, are we trading our privacy for convenience?
Yeah. It's not just about, like, someone stealing our data. It's about, like, do we even have control over how that data is used?
Exactly. That whole idea of like data ownership, transparency. Do we have the right to see what data AI is collecting about us, change it, delete it? And shouldn't companies be upfront about how they're using that data to like personalize our shopping experience?
Totally. Like, imagine if you got a notification like, hey, we noticed you were looking at those fuzzy slippers for a while, so we raised the price. Would that make you feel good?
Not really. It's a fine line between, being helpful and being manipulative. And transparency can help us see where that line is.
Right. So we can decide how much, AI personalization we're actually okay with. But hey, let's not forget, AI's done some pretty cool stuff too, right? Like those personalized recommendations, the virtual try-on things, even those checkout free stores. There are some real
Well,
benefits.
for sure. I think the key is finding that balance, right? Convenience and control, innovation, but also ethics.
And like that balance, it depends on what we do, right?
Yeah.
Not just as shoppers, but as like citizens. Do we just blindly buy into every new AI gadget? Or do we, demand that companies are responsible and ethical?
It's about being informed, asking those tough questions, and like fighting for the kind of AI powered world we actually want to live in. Because let's be real, the future of retail, it's not set in stone. It's being shaped right now by the choices we make.
Okay, so that brings us back to the whole point of this, right? Why should anyone even care about AI in retail? It's not just about shopping, is it? It's bigger than that.
Way bigger. It's about how AI is changing, like everything. The choices we make, the data we create, who has the power when those algorithms are like shaping what we buy and where we shop.
So what's the takeaway here? What should we be doing?
Think about it. The next time you see a personalized ad or walk into one of those high-tech stores, you're not just shopping. You're part of this huge AI experiment that's happening right now.
And like, we get to decide how that experiment turns out. It's about being aware, making smart choices, and demanding a future where, AI works for us, not the other way around.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for hanging out with us for this deep dive into AI and retail. We've seen how it's changing the game, the jobs, the ethical stuff. And remember, the future of retail, it's not some like fixed thing. We get to shape it. So stay curious, stay informed, and keep asking those questions.
It's been a pleasure. Remember, the future is not just something that happens to us, it's something we create.